Why Tears of the Kingdom is deeper than you think, examining thy depths. I'm sure this video essay is going to be great. How about you, fellas?
I don't really know what there is to examine. The depths barely have anything to do with the actual game.
I'm willing
Like
to
you,
bet that this video will be as deep as the depths.
me and Ryan went there early. We both did it. Almost no hearts. Ran through, collected almost everything down there. And guess what? The story really doesn't connect with it that much outside of what the fire temples down there.
Yeah, the Goron
The
city,
Poe
that's one
gods.
building. And the Poe gods aren't story related.
Yeah, they're not story related. They give
The
you the
only
coolest looking armor in the game, the Poe armor, but
the only challenging part about the whole chasms is when you're around Death Mountain area and you have to put on your fire resistant clothing. That's about it.
Yep. Let's see how this goes though. Maybe this fellow will change our mind.
yeah, he'll be like the Spirit Temple was really cool. It wasn't just a stupid room.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Spirit Temple. Mostly because I fucking broke that entire sequence because, well, the game gave me the option to.
If Tears of the Kingdom represents one thing, it's unfettered freedom, taking the already wondrously open expanse of Breath of the Wild and providing you with all the tools you could possibly need to break its world in half, defining completely your own path through it. Its potentially limitless options might seem overwhelming at first, but for the most part, the game's atmosphere is one of tranquil, breezy play, which is why it's so surprising to me that my favourite part of Tears...
Even though that should be how the world is probably coming to an end, considering, Ganon, and half the world just ripped up from the ground. Or descended. It's still not clear.
Why is he glowing?
He's a bird.
Of
that
the
makes
Kingdom
about as much
first
sense.
to go against everything the game otherwise stands for. Something more sinister, having less to do with this airy exterior than it does something lurking way below the surface.
Oh, hey, look, he's doing the same design that you do all the time because it's
Vastly.
the fucking only useful one.
Yes, they could have absolutely made this game as there's something lurking in the shadows, beware, but they didn't.
Nope.
It's boring and dark.
It's cool looking, it's beautiful, but...
but there's nothing to do.
Yeah, it's empty.
You get a whole bunch of things for a seed that doesn't do anything.
You could use it as a playground.
Get a light root
Mess
seed.
around.
Indeed, with all the marketing material for Tears of the Kingdom being so focused on the skyward expansion of Hyrule's explorable space, the discovery of the depths is rendered all the more disquieting. While you've been so used to everything else in this world begging to be clambered upon, here you have this sludge-covered hole in the ground, surrounded by injured people telling you not to go down there.
There's not really that many. There's like 2 injured people. I tell you, hey, don't climb that. Maybe 3.
Yeah, most of the holes
And
don't
they're
even
all
have
in the
anyone
same
around
area.
them. Yeah.
Couldn't be less inviting. And then, of course, you actually jump into the thing, descending for an unusually long time until you emerge.
He says that, but he didn't actually show himself going down the full path, which probably would have fit his video better right there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he didn't. He has light down there already.
No, this is if you do the quest correctly the way they want you to, Robbie has a light set up down here.
Oh.
We just torpedoed down there because we didn't give a fuck, and we died, and then we got up because we had the ferry.
I did it the right way.
Dank, rotten, filled with almost alien plant life, and crucially, it is dark. We're not...
Yeah, and it makes you really good first impression.
Talking a little dark here either. This is pure abyssal void to the extent...
I'm not a fan of his
Pure
voice.
abyssal void.
Makes climbing really annoying.
Yeah.
that your very ability to see the
You don't really need to see, though. Like,
Not really.
you can see the gloom and rocks and shit, so you know what you can climb on. It's not hard to navigate. Like I said, I did this bitch with like 3 hearts. 3 or 4 hearts, whatever it is when you get down here.
Like I said,
We
it
had...
makes climbing a bitch.
When we first jumped down here and died, we had 5 hearts. Then we were down here for a while, and then we went back up, got a few more hearts. Well, no, we got more stamina, then we jumped back down.
Elementary sensory experience of video games beyond touch is tied to a consumable, numbered resource. Your only guide should run out.
Something that you absolutely don't have like 200 of real fast.
Yeah.
Consisting mainly of
there was never a shortage of those fucking things.
Even when we weren't using them at first, because I
didn't even know you could throw them at first, so we were just running around down here.
Yeah, we were just running around or shooting them with arrows, and we ran out of arrows very quickly at first. That didn't become a problem afterwards, but...
First it was.
Rivers of violent crimson seeping into...
Violet crimson or violent crimson?
I think
Either way, it's
violent.
wrong.
He's using a lot of flowery language for no reason.
He's saying it's seeping into stuff, and it's not. It's there.
It's stationary, yeah.
I should say he's using like fucking dandelion language because it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't move, and the darker portions of the gloom don't actually do anything to you.
Yeah, the gloom also doesn't move or get reduced ever.
Yeah.
You max out, you get all the stupid
light
seeds
roots.
And like you get all the stupid light roots and like you think it would remove some of the gloom, maybe make it so like the final boss doesn't have as much gloom around it. Nah, it doesn't do any of that.
Like, imagine this. Imagine that you're wading through a pool of gloom on a style horse or whatever creation you make, and all of a sudden a horde of gloom hands pop up from the gloom to try to grab you and knock you off your mount. You have to now, like, navigate around it.
That'd be more interesting than what it actually does. It's poison. It's swamp poison.
Miasma. There's no actual gas.
It's malice by another name.
Well, yeah. But mechanically, it's the poison swamp. Oh, you walk in the water, you take damage.
Well, no, because the gloom also gets rid of your hearts. See? Slightly different.
Oh, no, you're poisoned. You take damage in a very slightly different way. But luckily, you can make gloom food that cures it, because that's something that happens.
Really, really easily, you can make that gloom food.
To every crevice of this hellscape.
There's a hellscape.
This hellscape.
This river of
this mushroom hellscape.
Crimson and alien fauna. It's like I was in the shitter.
Run out, consisting mainly of the vast rivers of violent crimson seeping into every crevice of this hellscape. Those rivers and those enemies corrupted by its glow won't just hurt you.
You know... Actually, I'm going to wait for him to finish first.
It'll take away the heart vessel containing your health until you can find the underground equivalent of a tower to unlock. All this to say, far from bright and airy, the atmosphere here is down.
The enemies down here, me and Aura talked about it in another video that would have been uploaded by now. The gloom-covered enemies could have been so much more, but they're not. They're just enemies with a slightly bit more health and do a slight bit more damage. I think. It's hard to tell.
I don't even think they do more damage. They just hit you with the gloom.
It's hard to tell because the enemy fucking strength is nonsense in this game.
There happens to be more silver enemies down there, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Not even by a lot.
Also, this game has terrible scaling for health with enemies.
Yep.
I love it.
It's not like they're hard to fight. They all just have too much fucking health.
Well, there's a I don't think they knew what they wanted to do because it's a combination of, like, for scaling wise, there's a combination of different areas farther from Hyrule Fields. The farther out you go, the more you will have a couple harder enemies. And the fact that they also try to scale the amount of enemies that you've killed in the game. And a lot of the times, the scaling will kind of glitch out and they'll immediately start having you fight silver stuff, like, right off the bat.
Yeah, because I had to fight silver shit immediately.
Yeah, there's silver stuff down here right away. It's not like they're hard to kill. It just takes forever.
They just take forever, so they're boring as fuck because the combat sucks.
Hey, what are you doing? Are you running up and slapping them or power attacking? No, that's about all you can do.
But I was fighting them a bunch on the surface, and I shouldn't have been at that point.
Yeah, the spawn change rate for the shit is borked.
Downright suffocating. The dust particles in
It's not suffocating you. It's not even claustrophobic. It feels like you're in a big empty field.
Which, again, I like the idea of. It turns out that's all it is. There's nothing to ever
I like
surprise
the
you.
idea of too, and I like the look of it. But it's not suffocating. It's never I mean, maybe some of the tunnels you could argue are suffocating, I guess. But I would still say that's kind of, I don't know, pedantic maybe at that point.
You know what would have
But
been,
nothing's really suffocating down there.
you know what would have been scary? If he was running forward into the dark, and like since it's so dark, you can't really see what's in front of you. Running, and then like before he can even realize it, since it's so dark, rocks right in your face.
Yeah.
You know how that could have worked.
Not even the music plays; it's just right there, and then it starts playing. You're like, oh no.
That could have worked if they, instead of giving you the light fruit, stupid resource, and the gluing shit to your arrows to shoot around to see where stuff is ahead of time, they just give you a shitty lantern, and then basically the whole point of down here was to upgrade the lantern.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that could have been better. The also, like, if there was giant bat super keys or aracudas or whatever down here, like that could fly you, and like Skulltras, just crazy shit that's above you that you just normally wouldn't have to worry about, on the surface. But technically, you're in a big cavern. You're in a big cave.
I don't really get likes in this game either.
Or like,
imagine if it's there.
They could have kept. Sorry to cut you off. They could have kept. I brought this up in the last video. They could have kept keys hordes. That would have been really intimidating down here, especially if it was dark. You just get hit by like a whole bunch of enemies at once.
Fuck it, they should have just stole the krill.
Yeah, there should have been shit down here that, like, in the darkness, or, that could, like, maybe that'd be a trade-off. You light the area, right? So you can see where you're going, but so can the enemy. So, like, you have giant Skulltulas on the ceiling, or Keese, or Aracudas, or Swarms, or whatever, that can see you now, so they'll be more aggressive towards you.
Or make the light fruit rarer, and then have it work like, basically if you don't like the area up, going into the darkness is bad because enemies are more aggro to you.
Or they could have copied off Dark Souls 2 and had the darkness impair your ability to lock onto enemies.
Yeah, no, well,
from further away.
Yeah, maybe.
They could have done something to change the gameplay up down here.
Yeah, but they didn't.
Instead of having a really beautiful waste of space.
Mm-hmm.
Giving off
that doesn't connect to the main story really at all.
Making it terrifying when you chuck one more bright bloom seed in front of you, only for it to fall and keep falling, completely reshaping your view.
To be fair, when that happens, the first couple of times that happened, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So you realize you're just shooting in the water.
Yeah.
Just how
that happens.
These depths really go. I mean, the environment above has its moments of anxiety-inducing scope and dread, but rarely, if ever, is that dread.
Also, most of the time, he didn't show it, but almost every time when you shoot a light root off into the distance, it just lights up a big empty field.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too empty down there.
That's what 90% of it is, though. When you shoot that is, it's like, oh hey. Does it do that thing where it falls forever? And fuck. Or does it hit something and then it just lights up like the side of a wall or an area with some gloom around it?
I mean, I remember because it was so fucking pitch black in one area. I shot it and it was only like 10 feet in front of me. It hit a tree, one of the trees down there, and it lit up. And I was like, "Whoa, this tree's crazy looking," and I didn't expect that. Past the tree, and that was when I saw the herd of stout horses. I was like, "Man, that's cool. Can't wait to see what else is down here." I never really had another incident like that, but...
Well, hey, how about this? Remember all the critiques about Breath of the Wild being too empty? And feeling like all these areas are, like there's not much going on?
I feel like
we're going to slightly fix that in Tears of the Kingdom, just slightly. So there's a little bit more to do and a little bit more puzzles to mess with. And then we're going to make a new area that's going to replace the emptiness of the first game.
But it's even more empty.
It's more empty.
I don't know. I think outside of the sky, both the surface and the depths are...
That's why I said slightly. That's why I said slightly better.
Yeah, I would say slightly better, too, in the fact that the sky is not very empty.
The puzzles are more spaced better. So there seems to always be something to run towards. But not in the chasm.
Nope, which is unfortunate, because... when I first got done, I was convinced the chasm was going to be my favorite spot. To be fair, it kind of still is.
Chasm's the place to grind for battery.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All of which begs the question, why, when there's so much else to Tears of the Kingdom's world, so much joyous fun to be had, so much room to breathe, do I spend all this time down here in this miserable world devoid of light and
Oh,
color?
because vehicles work better down here.
Yeah. I used the blimp because the blimp is by far the blimp and the plane are the two best things in the game by a shitload.
Also, lighting up the areas
I kept
doesn't really
forgetting
do
about
anything,
blimps.
but it does feel rewarding.
It does feel rewarding until you finish it, and then you get a turd, a coin-shaped turd.
You get a light root seed.
No, you get the light root coin.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's just a medallion.
Yeah, light root medallion, my bad. Or chasm medallion or something. Regardless, it's fucking stupid.
I thought
Light
it was
root
a light
medallion.
root. I thought it was light root seed, but I guess I'm wrong.
Also, have you noticed that all of his footage so far is really low heart, really early game? So he probably has no idea there's nothing else to this area. Maybe he pumped
I'm
his
aware.
video out pretty quick.
It's the same thing you see with people who rant about how awesome Divinity Original Sin 2 is. It's like, oh, this game's great. Oh, yeah, I can't help but notice all your footage was the first island and a little bit into the second.
Because that game gets drastically dumb.
The first island is really good. It gives you a really good impression. That starts to fall apart by the time you finish the second island. And then the third and fourth places you go are dog shit.
Which is why when Lorien Studios took over Baldur's Gate, I was a little nervous. So far, it's really fun.
Man, so far. We haven't beat it yet, though.
Well, the answer goes beyond its massive size. The fact that such raised stakes are matched by greater rewards and power-ups, or the many...
What raise stakes and rewards? There's fuck all.
Oh, you can get an opal.
You can get schematics, but guess what? The majority of the schematics, like, you can save schematics whenever you get them, whenever you make something. So just make the good thing, which, I mean, he made it shittily, but
Why did he put the
Yep.
glider on it?
he
don't know.
He didn't need to put the glider on. It's a waste of space and weighs it down. So, but
Waste of materials.
but just make you make the blimp, and you put the fire spewer thing out there, and you put 2 fans on there, and bam, you got like the best vehicle in the game, and you can just save it, and that's it. So
I just used a cart, one of those like small skateboard looking carts under the regular glider, and it got me everywhere I needed to go.
Any hauntingly beautiful ruins you'll stumble upon. Instead,
Well, it's because they give you a lot more options than you actually need for the game.
Yeah, it was options instead of content.
Yes,
Might sound strange, but it's the
it's
best
a
way I can put it.
sandbox.
Well, the answer goes
Have fun,
beyond
play.
its massive size. The fact that such raised stakes are matched by greater rewards and power-ups, or the many hauntingly beautiful ruins you'll stumble upon. Instead, it's that the very act of exploring here is fundamentally shifted, forcing you to rethink how you view and interact with your environment, with every step taken carrying far more narrative and tactical weight than that same step carries up above. And
So it doesn't carry any narrative weight.
Yeah,
Well.
no, it doesn't carry any weight at all.
Doesn't tear.
It's just
It's not
dark.
tactical weight. It's. Do you want to lose some hearts? Which, unless you're doing what we did, which is you come down here vastly underprepared, which made it really fucking great, you will have plenty of things, so that's not an issue.
Yeah, like light roots are normally there's like 15 or 20 in an area where there's one light root.
There's one underneath every shrine, and there's like 100 and something shrines on the surface. So
Not once in the chasm did I feel like Link's life was really at risk, because I could have easily just went back up,
yeah,
Yeah,
rested, and come back down with more supplies. It's not like as if you were a regular Hyrulean and went down there, and like they have to actually use like ships and stuff because they can't quick travel. Because they're not
man,
cool like
that
we-
would be cool if there was a bunch of side quests down here about shit like that.
Sure. You literally have one side quest to try to help somebody, and you find out he's a Yiga.
Yep.
to be
trying
fair,
to
pretty much
portray-
everybody you meet down here is a Yiga.
To be fair, almost everybody you meet out in the fields on the surface is also a Yiga.
Yeah, it's great. The guy doesn't get old fast.
we'll
Hey
get
Link,
into
oh it's a Yiga. Because other characters don't know who I am.
every step taken carrying far more narrative and tactical weight than that
The fucking I hate video essays. The way they pronounce things is just it's a
It
knife
takes
to my
so
ears.
much more take such more advantageous and tactical weight. It's like every decision I make is a plethora of possibilities.
Just the emphasis on random bullshit words.
I don't know which individual I could go for.
I am dubious of your intentions.
I'm dubious of the intentions of the
Fucking-
revertiligoed verbs.
Yeah, this fucking guy can tip his Fiora and call me milady.
Same step carries up above, and we'll get into it, but caves are a really wild thing, man. Like, look, I
Really,
adore
what?
Tears of the
He said caves are a real wild thing.
Wild?
Yeah.
Kingdom.
I
Obviously,
mean,
this is the
real
same-
caves are pretty crazy, and the fact that like it is actually weird how dark they are, but
And like how they form.
yeah, but like I don't know if that really applies to this game.
Well, hold on. Let's make hear his argument. Maybe it'll change our minds.
I've made on it. But while I think the people calling the game a mere expansion of Breath of the Wild are being unbelievably reductive, it's hard
There
to
it is
deny.
again.
I would say that is unfair to Breath of the Wild to call this game expansion. It's a downgrade in most aspects.
I think so.
Downgrading pretty much every aspect except for holding arrows.
That this is the same Hyrule we made our way through before, following largely the same structure of progression. Go to the four corners of the map, help the people there by solving a dungeon, gain a new power to
I'll do it again.
ultimately defeat Ganon. I know my way around.
Give us
New
money.
power is a strong way to say get the two useful ones.
A shittier
powers.
version of previous powers.
New power is a great way of saying we took away your old powers because fuck it, we don't care about them. And now
But
you
hey,
get these
we
shitty
gave
remakes.
you a glue gun, a swan dive that doesn't know how gravity works, and
Opposite Swan Dive.
I don't know, man. Stupid. This guy hasn't said jack diddly shit about why it's cool yet.
He's talked about the narrative stakes of walking up a hill in the dark.
I knew when he put deeper than you think in his essay that it was going to be about as deep as the depths actually are.
Yeah,
So,
it's
barring the
everything he said so far is superficial, and all he does is use.
Dandelion
Well,
words, as you put
yeah.
it.
His
Dandelion
vernacular. He's showing off his vernacular.
And congratulations, you opened up a thesaurus on Google.
I know, right?
Because you know damn well that's what it is.
Oh, absolutely. He doesn't know these
suite
words
of
by
new
heart.
powers,
I want
know
one of
my-
these fucking video essays that speak with like a really thick Cockney accent.
All right, love.
See, that'd be great.
No, nobody would watch him because nobody could stand the Cockney accent for more
I would
than a
watch
few
it. That'd be
seconds.
hilarious.
Let's talk about the narrative weight of the depths. You say the depths are
about
dark.
orcs.
Yeah, it'd be fucking orc shit. It'd be great.
Or we just get Tom Kench to do it, the voice actor for him. Let's have him do.
Oh, the Cajun?
Yeah.
Great.
Tom Kench or Twisted Dave. Twisted Fate
one-
for all you folks who actually know him.
Yeah. Just have one of those idiots do. Well, they're not idiots. They're probably very nice people. But just have one of them do it.
Be
Just
great.
Video essays in their character voices.
help the
I want
people there by-
Draven to do it.
No, we don't. Nobody likes Draven.
Welcome to the League of Draven.
Draven
No.
likes Draven.
Nobody likes him.
solving a dungeon, gain a new power to ultimately defeat Ganon. I know my way around Breath of the Wild, so barring the suite of new powers, I know my
Is
way
he
around-
reusing a lot of the same shots?
He is.
I don't think these are even.
I
his
rewound
shots.
it for a few seconds, but he does reuse quite a few shots throughout this video.
I think they just went online and looked up video footage.
Ed would not be surprised.
The
Like
surface
early
of
game
Tears
video
of the
footage.
Kingdom. The sky exploration stuff is interesting, sure, but it's more like a
Get a
bunch of
fucking heart piece.
spoke little puzzles, like shrines unto themselves, with relatively little in the way of connective tissue between any of them. It's neat, but there's not a whole lot to actually explore. The depths.
Well, at least that part's fair.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have nothing really to add to that.
No.
This guy should
Well,
minor
Skyrim is
temples.
boring. This guy stuff is
congratulations,
really boring.
whoever this guy is. You made a point. Not the point you're supposed to be making in this video, but you made one.
So I got
Yay.
all the shrines. I can't remember if Ryan did too.
No.
I think he might have given up on them. There are maybe one or two sky islands, especially the floating castle with all the pipes going through them. that are actually entertaining and challenging. Everything else is really boring. But so is the chasm.
Yeah.
The chasm is most
Outside of the
boring.
Yiga hideouts, which you can kind of just break.
Well, yeah, you just shoot them with a bomb, and that kills them most of the time.
Well, yeah, because
Well, yeah.
they almost all of them have just 1 health for some reason.
Like there was one that had a whole bunch of thorns around it in order for you to get up it, and trying to figure out how to get up that was kind of neat. But then you
Make
could
a
also
bridge.
just break it and use a hot air machine, air balloon.
Yeah,
You
it's
don't have to worry about it at all.
it's the tragedy of the unlimited freedom they made.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It's
the
very
problem
easy
is,
to break the game and do shit not the way they intended you to do, which makes everything super fucking easy and boring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The freedom thing would be cool if there were challenges that were based off the freedom you made.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had
everything
to
has a
build like
consequence.
a giant weird zigzag bridge to cross a chasm or something, but there's nothing like that. It's there's like basically, I think, what was it? We talked about this before, like 4 different kinds of puzzles for all the puzzles in the game. Connect something to something else. Connect something to something so you can write it on something. Build a
Hey.
ship.
There was Craft, the really glitchy bridge in the Fire Temple, where you had to hit the gong that's up on top of the broken ramp.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like I pretty much named all the puzzle types, and
I
they're all
hated that
pretty
one.
much, they're all pretty much, or build something to swan dive up to.
All just busy work.
Well, it's all menu
Keeps you busy
navigation.
so you keep playing the game.
The greatest
There's no actual substance.
the greatest insult this game does, besides obviously its story and narrative and all that crap, is the menu hopping. Fuck.
Yes.
As you can notice that when he's playing with the clips he's showing, he keeps cutting out
Yep.
the menu hopping, because this game has an obscene amount of it.
He's also never getting past 5 hearts.
Yeah.
The other hand, are the real new adventure here. The actual.
Why would you
new-
take an 8-fold blade? They suck so much. They do
You can
8
craft
damage.
You can craft them into really good stealth weapons.
Mystery to solve. This world is so genuine.
And then they one-shot most enemies.
The question you begin to
Yeah, but
ask
stealth
as
is slow and pointless for the most part.
you
I don't know.
explore
I didn't think it was worth.
life.
I didn't think it was worth doing.
If you use the mushrooms that create smoke around them, you
Oh,
could easily
yeah,
go into a
there's
camp
that.
and just annihilate the entire camp, even
Yeah.
the silver guys. With
It-
the right 8-fold blade.
Stealth has a use, but it's not in the way you would think.
It's not fun.
It's also not fun.
So you smoke cloud, crouch, and stab.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. You don't
Ooh.
even have to crouch.
It's
Man, imagine if we put in an actual sneaking mechanic instead of this
So-
half-assed bullshit that we
So
did.
the AI is so bad in the smoke that the enemy will literally just stand there with a question mark above their head.
yeah.
Like
It's
they glitch out basically.
it's a half-finished idea.
Instead of like, I should probably like try to run my way out of this situation.
Or even
Unless
start
you-
swinging wildly, like
Yeah.
something.
Like they just stand there like, I guess I'm dead.
All right, let's continue going with our Prince of Dandelions.
This world is so genuinely massive down here that the question you begin to
It is
ask
massive.
as you explore as you
Yeah, because like
Pretty-
right there, that like, oh, that whole area, this looks so cool. I can't wait to see what's over there, and I did, and that's usually a lot of nothing.
More of
isn't
nothing.
merely, do I have
There's
enough
Pose.
stamina
Yeah, you got the Pogod statues.
to make it to the top of this rock face? It shifts to, where is the top of this rock face? Is there a top? Where am I on it? How far do I have to fall if I've misjudged?
That's more
Everything-
annoying than anything.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
not-
it's kind of cool, like when you know the first time, but unless you're that horribly underprepared, which there's no reason you should be because of the pure amount of
Oh.
light bloom shit down here, you can
There were
usually
quite a
see
few
where
times.
you're going.
There were quite a
Yeah.
few times where I would have this giant like cliffside, and I was still in a dark area because I haven't gotten to the light route yet. And I'd be climbing, and like it would feel like I was climbing forever because I cannot see the top at this point because of how dark it is. And I'm like, am I actually making that much headway? Should I just go back down and figure a different way? Like this is just annoying because it's wasting my time.
Also, you can just eat stamina food.
You can, but
I mean, at the end of the day, all you really have to do is chuck up
I
the
didn't make a
big,
lot.
the big light fruit.
Yeah.
Because those light up like a...
Yeah, but those only go
giant
so
area.
high, and if it's a really big cliff, you can't get towards the top.
Well, that's true. Unless you put on
That's
an
what I'm
arrow.
talking about. Yeah, you can.
But, like, you don't run into the super big cliffs like that super often. Cause
No,
usually
but
you jump
I ran
down.
into enough to become an inconvenience.
Yeah,
And that's what
fair.
it is. It's an
There's
inconvenience.
there's definitely enough to be an inconvenience.
Oh my goodness, it looks like he's got 6 hearts there.
Truly. It's truly getting farther in the game.
Truly.
So much more imposing
No,
when you
yep,
are
6.
denied such an immediate means of comprehending its scale. I find myself using my map to lay down markers far more consistently than I do on the surface, as the ability
Markers?
to get truly...
You
Uh,
point out the light fruit and you go to the light fruit.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
only need
that's all-
markers
that's
for
Light fruit, so you don't lose them.
for the light roots.
Also,
is the only
almost
time
every
you put
area
markers.
he's been in so far, he's had fucking lights on. So what's he talking about?
Also, he's mostly just showing shit in the Hyrule Field area.
Well, it's dumb too, because you'll be like in a level plane, and you'll find the light route, and then you'll start running, and it'll like make you go down, and you're like, okay, now where was it again?
lost on your travels down here is real in a way that it isn't when the bright...
Yes,
It's not. You do not get lost down there.
Not
That's
really.
bullshit.
colorful
You head towards whatever you highlighted when you found a slight cliff. Because almost anywhere you are, you can see,
something.
without having to move a lot, you can see something to go to.
landmarks are plain to see. All it takes is one enemy ambush to completely throw you off your trail if you're not careful.
Why would you stop and fight them?
Yeah.
Especially the trees. They can't
So
keep
the
up with
trees,
you.
yes. There's a couple times where fighting the Spatula will be annoying because they'll just keep chucking rocks at you if you don't fight them. They can kind of catch up fairly well if you're just on foot.
Maybe. I don't know. I know very quickly I was able to outrun pretty much everything.
I just didn't really avoided fights down here because
I just started
They
wearing
were-
Majora's Mask.
they were health sponges.
It's the very fact that you can get lost here that makes finding your bearings again and reaching that destination so much more meaningful in a way that the world...
It takes you all of 2 seconds. It's so much more meaningful. I've never had to do it before. I had to climb to the top of a fucking storage shelf and pull out my scouter and read the power level of the nearest light fruit with green. And then get on my plane with all the pieces conveniently left for me and fly at it
Barbosa was
for
there.
about 15 seconds. And then after about 15 seconds, the stupid plane breaks. And I crash what's left of it into the side of a cliff, climb up another 15 feet, and I touch the light fruit till I find another stupid leftover piece of parts, and then I do it all over again.
And you look at your
Rinse and
watch.
repeat for the
and you'll-
whole fucking Underdark.
You look at your clock after doing those few things, and you realized it's been 2 hours, and you're like, "The hell?
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah,
Waste of time."
the pure
Literally.
amount of these fucking item caches just fuck me, man. Like
It's 'cause
I
they knew their game was shit, and they wanted people to be like, people would be like, "Oh, we'll get past it fast if we just take a glider and a
They'll let the
couple of
dumb,
missiles."
they'll let the
They'll
dumb fan base fight for them.
the complete lack of narrative down here like drives me up a wall, especially with these just everywhere. They try to throw narrative like, oh well, the Yiga clan is using some of these, but like if you read some of the Yiga clan notes are fucking contradictory because sometimes one of the notes says something like these were already down here like this, and the other note goes, no, we put these like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because somehow or another, this game took fucking like 10 years or 7 years to make, and it's still a rush job.
Yep.
It's very
Well, like I said, literally, I literally described every light route acquisition down here.
Until you get to the stupid fire area. And then you just
Yeah,
do it
except
all
for
but in
the
a fire
fire.
suit.
Yeah, and then you put on a fireman
up there.
costume and do it all over again.
Do up there, finish the Goron area. You don't even have to finish the Goron area, just get the
God,
suit.
this game
I finished
irritates
the
me
Goron
so
area.
much.
Goron.
I wanted to love it.
Well, I did too. I love Zelda.
Not this one.
I love Breath of the Wild. I actually like that one.
I liked Breath
loved-
of the Wild.
I liked Breath of the Wild a lot until I got burnt out trying to get all the Koroks.
Alright.
But that was just a grind.
Oh, don't worry, all you get is
Here's where
poo.
we get into the
I
case.
know.
Alright, he's about to get into it. Get ready.
so much more meaningful in a way that the world above, by its very nature, cannot match. And here's where we get into the cave stuff. In my thinking about why the depths resonated with me so much, I got into a bit of a pit looking up interviews and writing by real-world cavers and speleologists to see what so drew them beneath the ground. And it's
Alright, so very pretentious bullshit so far.
Is a speleologist actually what that's called?
I don't fucking know, nor do I care.
I mean, he's got Google. He might have actually looked it up.
At the end of the day, though, he liked the Underdark area, so he decided to look up interviews about cave shit.
So, a scientist who studies caves, or a person who goes into caves as a sport, is a speleologist. They're also called a potholer or a spelunker.
Why didn't he just use...
I didn't know
Yeah, why didn't he just use spelunking?
It's kind of fascinating to see some of
Big
the
words.
thinking behind that pursuit, representing a unique intersection of cold scientific research, competitive pioneership, and the kind of deeply physical and emotional challenge you don't normally associate with sterile lab work.
You're not gonna get that in a video game, man.
Yeah, what the fuck does this have to do with anything?
Also, where's my cool crystals?
Right.
I've never played a video game and been like, oh man, I feel claustrophobic in this game. Like, sure, some games can give you like a kind of claustrophobic feeling, but you're sitting on a couch.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting in a chair. You're on a computer. You know.
At most, I might be like, am I genuinely stuck? Like, do I have to reload?
Like
The people who have never done anything seem to be like associate real world shit like that with video games, and it's just weird to me.
it's because it's odd. It's not how it works. Like, sure, I've been jump scared and I enjoy being, startled and stuff when we play like Phasmophobia or something.
Hey, we've been in real caves before, and it doesn't feel like this.
Yeah, no, it feels different. It's a lot cooler for one.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Literally.
like actually cooler, not cooler isn't cool. See, this is why English is stupid. But
A lot more cool.
yeah, the temperature is lower in caves. When the lights are not on in a cave, it is the darkest I've ever seen it.
Yeah, and that true dark is something that's just not experienceable in a game.
Also, when Link's in the Hebron area of the Underdark, why didn't he get cold like
There's
how
I
the
think
lava makes
one
him
I
get
think there's a
hot?
one little area where it gets cold.
I don't think it does at all.
It might not. I
Like,
could be wrong.
The Hebra area is the area I went to first in the Underdark. I went there. It looks kind of, and like doesn't even look like snow. It looks like ash down there.
Well, that's because the cold is an afterthought.
I think it is. Like weird chains and stuff down there, and it just looks weird. Not cool.
I think it's
weird.
because of how temperature works. Technically, underground, it wouldn't get colder like that.
It actually would.
But
It actually does get colder until you get far enough down, and then it will eventually get hot. That's really far.
But yeah, no, I think
no sun. There's no sun and atmosphere to heat the area.
because like I don't think if you went down, 200 feet into a cave, you'd start getting icy. But it'd probably be cold.
But if you went like miles down, like it's almost implied in this game.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how many caves go miles down.
The point being is another aspect of the fucking depths being underbaked.
Basically.
Almost everyone I read about mentioned how dangerous these environments can often be. This chunk of nature may appear...
So I think I think they're trying to follow basement logic. Like, basements are always cooler and
They're
always
damp
around
and
the same
cold.
temp. Well, yeah, they're always around the same temp regardless if it's summer or not.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the kind of logic they were going for with this. And then they're like, oh, hey, we'll put lava over here. It'll be hot. Yeah. I think that's why there's no cold.
Tranquil, but one of the most humbling, scary parts of nature is its total indifference to human endeavor.
What does that have to do with a fucking video game?
What does that have to do with the caves that are loaded with supply caches that you can teleport out of freely?
Well, he also keeps saying caves, and the game has caves,
He's not
He has
showing
not
them.
touched upon them once. This is a chasm. This is the chasm. This is not a cave.
This is almost as big as Hyrule Field. It's just dark.
Yeah.
Like as open as like the fields are. I mean,
Like the caves have a completely different feeling than the chasm.
you're
They're
also
both
not gonna
kind of boring, but
you're not gonna
do have a
find
different feeling.
chasms like this or caves like this in real life. They have these massive, sprawling open areas.
Not that we've ever found.
You could say that caving represents the extreme of discovery, a sentiment summed up nicely by renowned cave diver Martin Farr, where his rather straight-ahead analysis of current caving culture suddenly gives way to talk of these environments being something to vanquish, as if
Why is he driving into that?
Oh no.
I don't fucking know.
enemy to be toppled. And crucially, this is exactly the sentiment that sums up why I love the depths as much as I do.
Because you're gonna
you
vanquish
like
the darkness.
You like the depths because in real life, cave raiders are a thing?
Oh, the other thing that's really annoying too is when you go to climb something and you realize that it's one of the barrier walls that closes off each section. And you're like, okay.
I just wasted like 20 minutes. Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And it literally is that long. You're probably not going to have the climbing suit yet.
See, Hyrule, as it exists on the surface, is a playground. Far more than even Breath of the Wild, it is there to be poked and prodded.
He sucks at aiming those things.
Yeah.
At
I don't think this is him playing.
Like I said, I don't think he's made a fucking point yet about anything.
No,
this is early game clips.
His point so far is the chasm is cool because it reminds him of real life spelunking because he has never been inside of a cave.
The chasm is cool because I don't know anything about
Just
actual
go to Tennessee
caves,
or
except for what I've seen on the internet.
Something.
And because I haven't actually played the game, so I'm only being able to see what's on clips. And I'm making a essay based off of what I've seen so far.
Yeah, this is probably written. I don't remember the release date on this video, but if I had to guess, this is probably pretty close around the release of Tears of the Kingdom. So it was probably written and edited before then.
Like if I seen this video before I actually played the game, I'd be getting pretty hyped, seeing all these clips and all the neat little things he's doing.
Like, yeah, this is gonna be great. Can't wait to see what's in there.
Like, what's that thing? What's he got on that log?
You can get the big Goron sword, but for some odd reason it looks wrong.
Yeah.
Gives you all the options you could possibly need to showcase your creativity. It is a game space. By upping the hostility in
That's not a good thing for a fucking RPG.
Almost every conceivable way, the depths distinguish themselves as something bigger than just the player, not overtly designed to accommodate you or your quest, less mechanical and more primal, all of which make...
What the fuck is primal? What is primal about a video game? I don't...
Well, even in the context of like what he's saying, it doesn't make sense. There's nothing more primal about it here than there is running around at night up top.
He's confusing actual cave diving with a poorly simulated video game version.
That's...
there is something actually primal in like fear-giving and like, am I going to die?
Yeah, I get that in real life, but this is a fucking video game.
Exactly. That's why I say he's confusing the two. Like, this did not make me feel like when I was actually in the actual cave, which I have been in. Like, knowing that I might slip on a rock because it gets kind of damp down there and plummet to my death in some point.
Makes carving your way through the darkness in the face of said hostility genuinely rewarding in and of itself. Now, obviously, that's not to say that Hyrule is free from that kind of hostility. It's just that what the depths have put into perspective for me is why those big, grand dungeons and boss fights designed to be truly momentous ultimately feel far more rote, less compelling for me than, say, those simple, lengthy treks across frozen tundra, with my only source of heat being a fire wand strapped to my back.
Well, you're an idiot for using a wand, but...
So, what he basically said is he doesn't like a game with a lot of action. He wants to play walking simulator.
Yeah, kind of.
That's a reductive way of putting it, but yes.
Yeah.
whose rapidly declining durability
I don't know.
forces me to make constant
Go out and
risk
touch
reward
grass.
decisions about whether to defend myself against the foes in my path or the very elements themselves. But
I don't want that. If I'm gonna play a video game, I don't wanna do something I could go outside and do. I want to do something that's fantastical and something that I'll never probably actually see in my life. I want to experience that.
It's
I
like
don't want walking
because
simulator.
we all three of us have been playing through Sons of the Forest, not
Mm-hmm.
consistently, but we played every once in a while.
Sure.
And like, if you're trying to go for that more realistic caver feeling, I think that's probably a better choice. If you're gonna try and make an argument about
Okay.
how caving feels good.
Well, and then turning the corner and not knowing what's gonna be there.
Yeah, because like
I've never been
shit
there
runs,
before.
scary shit runs out of the darkness in Sons of the Forest.
Like babies.
Yeah, like babies. They just come flinging at you. It's like babies on a harpoon or something, or babies on a slingshot or something.
I'm just wondering, like, how fucking little attention is he paying to be in danger of getting cold in this game? Because, again, there is so much shit they almost fucking hand you an infinite amount of supplies to just never have to worry about the heat or the cold.
I mean, just eat a pepper, man. You have a torch, you'll be fine.
You get a lot of peppers early on in game.
You get fire fruits and all kinds of other shit, and all you gotta do is
Also,
equip a fire fucking weapon and then this either a fire shield or
90% of the areas you're fine with if you just put on the pants you get in the tutorial.
Yeah.
Like I had a harder time dealing with the heat more so than I did with the cold.
Yeah, cause...
Oh yeah, it's because there's actual parts of the heat you need to be fire immune.
I'm just glad it's not like Breath of the Wild where the whole area wasn't like basically on fire. There's really only caves.
I still think it's funny that Ganondorf's grand plan was to shit in the Zoran River.
Yeah, he really had to go.
No, it's genius. We'll give the Gorons cocaine, we'll shit in the river.
We'll lead the Gerudo into an infestation of moths.
Yeah, we'll unleash zombie moths on the Gerudo, and then we'll freeze the birds. And you're like, why is...
Like,
There
at
seems
least this
less
one's
creative.
intimidating. Yeah.
There's
They didn't even really freeze them. They were thriving.
There was another video, a video that you have not seen, which will be going up before this one does. Me and Aura were talking about that because that gets brought up.
Oh yeah, well let's
try and finish this.
Shitting in rivers inside. Let's finish this one off.
But the depths, by reframing the basics of navigation and movement,
Doesn't do that.
It doesn't do that at all. You're still gliding. You're still building cars or blimps or whatever the fuck, and you're running. The stealth horse is great, but at the same time, you can just ride a horse on the surface. But the stealth horses are only really in one area. They're in Hyrule Field, underground, Chasm Field, whatever the fuck it's called.
They're in a couple areas, but it's very few and far in between.
Yeah, but they're only really useful in the Chasm Field because the other areas have giant fucking caverns.
Having you constantly juggling whether or not to expend
Why'd you throw that 2 feet in front of you?
To utilize
As an
the
idiot.
hostility of this world as a visual guide.
I'm
or
sorry,
just
the
to
person making the clip was an idiot.
Is less than intelligent.
enter into the
I'm giving you
void
too
and
much
hope
credit.
for the best. This environment takes that same glorious game of moment-to-moment
The same
decision-making.
glorious game takes it from moment to moment.
But I don't think this guy played the game.
The scenario I just described and manages to bake it into every single step
That's how much
you
area
take
this is gonna cover, even though we shot it right next to another one.
Fucking genius.
through this landscape. That
Literally right next to
Did you
it.
see how? Did you see how much more it covered though?
Well,
Yeah.
It's a little one versus a big one too.
Yeah, yeah, but that's kind of the point, though, is they're not hard to get either of them.
No.
Like, I think by the time I finished Tears of the Kingdom, I had like 400 and something of each.
Well, especially because they don't expect you to do the chasm like right away, since it's harder.
Yeah,
It has to be like near the end game stuff, which you should have accumulated a bunch of resources by that point.
like there was a little time towards the beginning we ran out of the light roots or the light seeds, so we had to go between them without lights. That was really cool. Unfortunately, that was easily corrected because next to the light roots you can find more light seeds.
Mm-hmm.
that step represents calculated risk and increased danger.
Calculated
the ground you're
risk.
standing on, more so than anything
Christ.
above you, suddenly becomes that beast to be vanquished. As
Nope.
There is... What the fuck is he going on? The beast to be vanquished.
The darkness is a beast to be vanquished.
As Martin Farr might have put it, a prospect as humbling.
Martin Farm, I know the name of a cave diver. You don't know? Fucking nitwit.
As I imagine caving in real-life nature probably should be.
Real-life nature, even.
In real-life nature, cave delving is a hell of a lot different than holding A.
Also, you're not going to climb in cave diving for the most part.
No, you have lots of things in place.
You'll follow your tour guide. That's what you'll do.
I want to see a cave diver, like, actually try to climb up an area, like any cliff person. I want to see him actually climb up like a cliff wall, especially a sheer cliff wall, and then
in the
throw
fucking
himself
pitch black
up into the air, and latch onto another part of the cliff wall. Like
in the pitch black.
Nah,
in
with a
pitch
glider.
black.
And
No
then they'll
kind of
carry a
light.
glider so they can safely get down. Because
Yes.
this is like real life, man.
This is real.
With emergent narrative potential.
Yeah, it has narrative potential. They don't fucking do anything with it.
As it is viscerally thrilling.
It's not viscerally thrilling. I hate that word.
He's used visceral.
I never noticed they had the lens of truth on that.
What?
On what?
The lens of truth on the
Oh, it does.
bumper.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's the Yiga symbol. It's a lens of truth upside down.
It's upside down.
Well, yeah, I know what it is.
Obscuring the
I
truth.
just didn't know it was on that piece of equipment.
That's pretty. I mean, that is neat.
All of this to say,
Probably got it from the ego though.
makes it seem like they go against the notion of complete and
Ow.
total freedom
Oh,
that otherwise
jeez.
defines Tears of the Kingdom, where everything is at your fingertips to mess with at your leisure. With that luxury gone, however,
That luxury is made even more apparent down there because there's giant caches of bullshit everywhere. The fuck are you on?
what you choose to do with those tools and abilities goes beyond daft messing about, and instead
Daft
becomes
messing
an ongoing,
about.
emergent story of survival and triumph.
Not.
It's not a survival game. The fuck is...
Entirely of your own making.
To be fair, if it was a survival game, that might have at least added something, but I'm not sure it would have helped this game.
So there's a whole minute left. What the fuck is gonna say now?
Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe.
Guy's got a
It's on
Patreon.
YouTube stuff. It really
It's
helps
probably-
us
Who is paying him?
the world. A massive
Too many
thanks as
people,
well to our
apparently.
patrons who you can see
You-
on screen.
you don't understand. Or-
I thought better of you, Moose.
Moose, how could you do that to us?
It's Bobby!
What the hell's wrong with you? Bobby, that boy ain't right.
Mr. K.
Tanka.
Jay, what the fuck?
Way too many people give this guy money.
He probably makes millions per video.
Nah,
Probably.
Well, he probably gets like 1 million views a video.
He's got a lot.
Yeah, and he hasn't... What, at the end of the day, what did he say? Cave raiding is like exploring the depths is like real life cave raiding because
I've never been cave diving before, but I think it's like this.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I've been in a cave before. You know what I like? It would be like if I was like, you know what? I played Sons of the Forest. It's the game I just mentioned. It's like, it's basically like real life scuba diving in a cave with sharks.
Yeah, same thing.
At least the cave area.
He also didn't mention
At least the
caves,
cave
even though he
area.
mentioned caves. Like, he said he was going to bring up caves, and he just didn't.
Like the actual caves, they do what they're supposed to do. They actually have like a moist environment, make it hard for you to actually grip onto the rocks. Like that part felt a lot more cave-like than the chasms.
Yeah, the chasm is... This whole video is just nonsense.
Jones, Chaplin, Shardfire, Lynn Browning, Dallas Keaton, Charlie Kimball, and Charlie Yang. And with that, this has been another episode.
You know
of
what,
Writing on
dude?
Games. Thank you all so much.
Writing on games.
And I will see you all next
You
time.
you subscribe to our Patreon that we don't have. We'll give you a special $1 million a month subscription.
Well, no, we'll say your name at the end of the video.
Uh,
Oh,
I didn't know where I was going with
there's
that
so many
joke.
sad people out there who want the.
I was annoyed
wanna
watching
be-
this
you wanna be
giant
seen.
Patreon list.
Okay, so if you hover over his name right there, the channel's name is Writing on Games, which he didn't
Right.
do anything, mention the writing of this game at all, or anything about the depths. in-depth analysis and opinion pieces on games, their designs, and their narratives. He did not give an analysis on the depths. He did not give talk about their design, and he didn't talk about the narrative. He gave a very shitty, vaguely opinion piece.
Yeah, he gave an opinion piece of how this inspired him to look up a couple of people who do real life cave diving.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of 10 minutes, that's all he said.
Which literally, you could do that within a couple minutes on Google. It does not take
I mean,
long
his
at
other
all.
videos, 8
quote unquote
minutes
research.
or 9 minutes, but it's just over 8. This is a guy who somehow made it big, just doing shitty 10-minute videos.
Oh man, I have to get this video out, but I couldn't. I put it off for too long, and so I'm just gonna have to half-ass it. I'll slap together some stuff that I saw and make some bullshit up.
If I had to guess, most of this video was probably made before the game even came out, because the depths have nothing, and it's a shame because there's so much they could do.
Boring. It was all early game material too.
The most interesting part is finding the Pogod statues.
Because the Pogod is buff.
And he gives you the coolest armor. So he gives you Shadow Link. He gives you Shadow Link, and he gives you the Poe armor. You know, Shadow Link mostly sucks, but the Poe armor looks cool. And all the DLC armors are down there in treasure chest.
And I found most of them before I found the fucking maps to them. So I kept getting maps that didn't do anything, which was super fun to fucking get.
I had over 3,000 Poes by the time I beat the game, and I really didn't have a lot to spend them on. Because I pretty much got all the resources I wanted. I had a big Goron sword. I didn't need a bunch.
Oh, you can only buy one at a time anyway.
You might. I'm not sure. I never tried.
I don't remember. At the end of the day, it doesn't really do anything.
Well, that was a big nothing burger.
Like most video essays, he said a lot of nothing, and then people are going to give him lots of money because that's how this works. And I don't understand it.
Well, perhaps we too should work on saying nothing. I could be like, you know what I like? I like the JRPGs because they have plot and in-depth character development and skirts. These are things that bring me to the plethora of civilization, so I can understand the in-depth, radical existence of Japan. It's like I'm in Otaka myself.
Make sure you have that thesaurus and dictionary next to you while you're doing all this so you can sound pompous.
Yeah.
And make sure you have the really soft, non-threatening voice, because people are scared easily.
They are frightened with their anxiety.
I can't do it, man. I can't do the voice like that. I have to work on it. Next video.
And let me talk about the coolness of The Legend of Zelda, the fascinating dread of the depths. Kill me.
The fascinating dread of the depths. Yeah, the things that aren't there, like how it changes your navigation, or it kills your children or whatever. You know, it's things that don't happen down there.
Stabs you in the pinky toe.
All right, well,
That was dog shit.
bye everybody.
Bye-bye. Let us know. Were we too mean?
So long.
Now,
Thanks for listening.
A word from our sponsor.
Yeah. All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. See this? This is my boomstick. It's a 12-gauge double-barreled Remington. S-Mart's top of the line. You can find this in the sporting goods department. That's right, this sweet baby was made in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Retails for about $109.95. It's got a walnut stock, cobalt blue steel, and a hair trigger. That's right, shop smart. Shop S-Mart.